Hello, everyone, and thank you to be here on our second seminar of this year at the IPM. And I'm Pierre Henvé. I'm very happy to welcome you to this seminar about demystifying innovation in procurement. And today we are accompanied by our partner, Zycus, famous technology solutions for procurement professionals. So I would like to welcome our speakers for today. I will be facilitating the call. I am the managing partner of the IPM, and I will leave the floor to our guests today so that they can introduce quickly themselves to the audience. Renaud, maybe you can start.
Yes, hello, Renaud Vadon. I'm in charge of South Europe for Zycus, and I have more than 25 years of experience, both in procurement and supply chain domains.
Hello, my name is... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Laurent Probst. I'm a pre-sales consultant at Zycus, based in France.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laurent. So I'm Hervé. I'm the research director at the IPM, and I've been working on the topic of innovation in procurement over the past 10 years.
Thank you, guys. I mean, today's topic is about innovation, but before venturing into how to innovate with suppliers and trying, as the title say, demystifying the topic, well, I would like us to take a bit of a broader perspective first around what are the priorities that we are seeing among our partners, our clients these days. And of course, we see that these priorities are centered around three main topics. The first topic, I'd say, is centered around operational excellence, agility, and cost management. As I'm sure it comes as no surprise for all of you guys. The second one, maybe Renaud, you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, for sure. I mean, for procurement manager, having new technology is a priority also, and that's the second pillar we see here in terms of priority. For sure, new technology enable new capacities in procurement. For the last 5 years, we've seen the rise of AI enabling new cost savings. We've seen also a lot of progress in user experience, enabling, the acceptance of procurement platforms. So all of this is very important for a procurement manager, and it explains why we have so many, and we have still so many digitalization transformation programs in the procurement domain.
Thank you, Renaud. Hervé, can you cover the third one?
And the third one, for me, I wouldn't call it a priority. It's really an imperative, because if we want to deliver agility, cost, I mean, at the same time, resilience, the ability to develop an enduring supply chain and sustainable supply chain are the key imperatives of today that everybody needs to take into consideration.
Thank you. I mean, we would like to hear from you. What are your priorities? I mean, you can select. I hope you can see the pop-up screen that just appeared, and you can select from multiple priorities. So, what are the main priorities that is faced by your organization? So let's wait a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, sorry, to have results. We have 16 answers right now. Let's move it up. So reducing costs, like classical, let's say, for procurement organizations, or delivering value to the business is quite top line contribution, but only bottom line contribution. So what do we have? So we can see that reducing spend cost is always a topic, and that's something that is comes as a no surprise. But we can see spend cost or resisting price increase. We can see that innovating, sustainability, and better analytics is something that is very important for the audience. What do you think of that, Hervé?
No, and I think, for me, what's very important is probably over the past few years, we saw a number of procurement organizations putting innovation as one of their priority. But in fact, I mean, innovation is an enabler of all the different goals and priorities of procurement, whether this is the economic performance, whether this is the resilience, risk management, or the sustainability aspect, or the ability to support growth. So innovation is more a mean to an end for me than really, a priority in itself.
That's interesting what you're saying there, where innovation is rather a mean to an end. Means that through innovation we can deliver a lot of these missions, and that are a lot of these priorities that you just mentioned. So let's dig deeper into the innovation topic, Hervé.
Yeah, and I think one of the key message that we've been sharing over the years is that innovation is at the heart of procurement and should be the responsibility of everyone within the procurement function. We might not bring disruptive innovation everywhere, but our ability to continuously contribute to innovation is absolutely central. What we'll discuss a lot throughout of the webinar is the importance of data and intelligence and the way to power innovation in procurement. And, as a consequence of this will be a distinctive trait of any leading procurement organization, innovation and digitalization combined to deliver outstanding performance.
So but what is exactly innovation? I mean, I know that.
Yeah, I think that's, this word has been used so extensively over the past years. Well, basically, innovation is not just about looking for new ideas. And this is a sort of a misconception. In order to bring innovation, we need to look for problems. We need to ask the stakeholder for the challenges they foresee for the future. And then we need to ask for the supplier for the solutions. And very often, it's not about inventing something new. It's very often combining things that are already existing in order to, respond to the future challenge or the existing challenge of the customer, of the stakeholder in front of us. In terms of the impact of this, innovation can, contribute to reduce risk. That's all about resilience. It can contribute to increase efficiency. It can contribute also, that's the most obvious and commonly understood one, to deliver products that are different from competitors. It can contribute to customer experience, but also to access new markets. By working together with some supplier, we might be able to open a new market, access a new geography, for instance, and increase our revenue by the same token. And it can also be about developing innovative business model. Very important point when we've surveyed over the past 10 years, procurement organization, and when we looked at the one that have the best financial performance, what they do consistently more is innovation project with supplier that address innovative business model, access to new market, and differentiation in terms of product and services. So the best companies from an economic standpoint are companies who engage suppliers on innovation on all dimensions, but even more specifically on these three.
It's interesting as well because if you are familiar with the WRI, the Working Relationship Index metric, we can also see that companies who have a working relationship with their suppliers that are evaluated as healthy by the suppliers themselves, they invest more into R&D to serve those clients. So we can see that top financial companies are innovating more with their suppliers on, I would say, fundamental aspects, like you just said, product, markets, and differentiation. And on top of that, they do that through collaborative approaches that generates more value for both parties. So it's like closing the loop on that. Okay.
So as I mentioned before, this is really the idea that innovating with supplier is here to, contribute to de-risk our supply chain, to grow the business through the new product, the innovative business model, for instance, contribute to sustainability. Decarbonation is going to be an innovation game, but also, the main cost reduction, the main impact in terms of that will be significant, they're coming from innovation and very often innovation with suppliers. So it's at the heart of everything. In order also to connect to, the topic of digitalization, one thing that's important to have in mind, I mentioned it before, the source of innovation is not just having new ideas. It's not just creativity. It's the ability to look at challenges and look for solutions. And to, shape, frame challenges, we need data and intelligence. And in order to, shape, frame solutions, we need access to data and intelligence. Whether this is, current performance of suppliers, whether this is market intelligence, technology intelligence, anything related to, new rules, regulatory rules that we need to consider. All of this, is a source of information that needs to inform innovation and that can help us deliver these broader goals.
Okay, so data and intelligence, what do you mean exactly by, data? We have lots of data, right? We, as you said, access to internal data, spend data. When I was in charge of some categories, in a couple of years ago, I was building spend cubes, right, to better understand data, internal data. Access to external data was more problematic. It was, and now everything is getting together. It looks like to me like data is like information in reality, and the thing is, what do we do with this information? So it's like a rough diamond that would need to be cut, that would be to be polished to create intelligence or to create something that professional buyers would be able to use to achieve the different goals and priorities that has been highlighted earlier on. Am I right? Is the diamond analogy speaks to you, Hervé?
Yeah, very much. It's by aggregating different sources of information, polishing the data, and making sure they can, connect together. That will be able to deliver, the future value that can make a difference for organization.
Okay. Well, thank you, Hervé. That's on the content, the intent, I would say. I'm sure we share. Most of the audience would share that that perspective and the willingness to create more value with data analytics. So let's see what kind of a solution Zycus can provide or illustrate how at one technology provider, this is enabled by technology. So I'm going to leave the floor to Renaud on the solutions to help us create value from data.
Yeah, thank you. So to make the link to what Hervé said just previously, for 26 years now, Zycus has been focusing on innovation in procurement. So we do procurement and only procurement. And one of these innovation is AI, for sure. We will detail a lot of things about AI in procurement, but also the use of data on not only internal data, as we were used to, back office data, but also external data. And that's a novelty. When you see here the major procurement challenges, we see, how do we see them first? We have three sources of innovation ideas or innovation trends. The first one is globally the market and the analyst that fuels us with, the latest trends. Then we have all the consulting firms we are working with that are enabling, new projects and are talking to us about the last innovation made by their customers. And then we have our customers themselves that have a bunch of ideas, and a bunch of innovation needs. And here you see their priorities on what they call their major challenges. And it's cohesive with the pool you just had at the beginning of the webinar, automating tasks. AI is enabling new automation capacities, and then cost savings. So that's number one. Then about data, the supplier performance, the visibility you want to have on supplier performance, you will see that we gather data, back office data, but also external data to give you a comprehensive view of a supplier risk or a supplier performance. So that's a big novelty, and that's very important. And then process standardization. I mean, we worked a lot about the UX to boost the project adoption. And in a procurement digitalization project, what is very important is to drive efficiency and to have a good acceptance, and that's driven by a nice UX. Then to come back to the priorities we listed at the beginning of the webinar, the way we develop our solution at Zycus is to answer each of these priorities. So for example, agility cost, and cost management, I talked about AI. We have also a tool to integrate faster our platform to your ERP or to the rest of your back office. We have also spend management tools. So we do a lot to respond to these new cost management needs. And Laurent will come back to some of them. Then about tech modernization, we work, as I said, a lot about AI. AI to enable a better user experience. So for example, we use ChatGPT to enable you to ask questions to our procurement platform. And the procurement platform will answer to your question. So it enables, people that are not in IT, not even in procurement, to dialogue with the procurement platform in a very efficient way, and it's boosting adoption. And then, last but not least, managing risk, resilience, and globally ESG. We'll see at the end of the webinar that we develop a special offer called Lighthouse to address ESG needs, and that's a new mission and a new strategic mission that is due to by the procurement department. All of this leads to our platform, the Zycus platform. So you have 7 modules in blue. That's a full source-to-pay platform. We have, sourcing modules, contracting modules, e-procurement modules. So we have a full suite. And the specificity of Zycus is that we developed everything by ourselves. So 26 years of development, but that's everything is in-house. We didn't buy anything. We didn't interface anything. Everything has been made by us. That means we have a very, very adaptive platform. You can start with a few modules and then expand. I mean, you're not obliged to buy the full suite, and it's natively integrated. At the heart of this module, you see the black box. That's all the AI engines we developed process by process. And we can be very detailed about the AI capacity we built process per process. And Laurent will illustrate one of them. And then, underlying these modules on AI engine, you have all the layers that are common to all our modules. For example, savings management is a layer that enables you to define a saving project and to fuel this saving project with all the interaction done in the modules, sourcing and P2P modules, and then really to have a complete follow-up of your savings on a particular project. So all these layers, are common to all our modules. The result of this is we are now recognized, and we are very proud of that, by the biggest analysts that are Gartner and Forrester. And when you have a deep look of what they say about Zycus, they mention the fact that we are pioneering the AI procurement capabilities. So I think we are the most accomplished editor for AI in procurement, and they give you a full view of our positioning, which is a very comprehensive positioning in terms of vision. To come back on AI for AI doesn't make any sense. AI to save money, AI to be more productive, that's what we are looking for. And here you are seeing all along the S2P process to savings due to AI. So on accounts payable, legal, procurement, supplier onboarding, all of these fields benefit from AI in a way or another way. And here we will detail for contract, for example, we are stating we can reduce cycle time by 80%. That's a very high number. So we can explain why and detail exactly for this example what AI is doing, and I will let Laurent explain.
Thank you, Renaud. Merlin for Contract Insta Review will analyze your contracts and compare all the clauses with a golden contract. It will indicate which clause is present or missing, and also it will analyze the content to give a risk score. Based on this result, the contract manager will able to add a clause or better negotiate a clause with the supplier. Slide. Here are the key pillars for our Merlin AI suite. So first, we have introduced Merlin AI suite for autonomous procurement. It will enable you to automate practical or repetitive tasks. Also, we have introduced Merlin AI suite for analytics. That means we will use all the power of AI to give you insights and enable you to have better decisions in all the process. And finally, we have also introduced AI to interact with your business users by giving them a chat bot in MS Teams in order for them to receive all the answers for their queries. So Automate Quick Source will enable the buyers to have 40% of effort reduction by automating the quick quote selection of the suppliers, and also it will analyze the quotes coming from the buyers, from the suppliers, and it will then present the best quote to the buyer. This will enable them to have a lot of effort reduction in this process. On the AP side, we have introduced AP Smart Desk, and AP Smart Desk will analyze all the emails coming from the suppliers. It will analyze the content of these emails, and if it's a payment request, for example, it will then analyze the invoices in your databases and prepare a response. If it's an email with an invoice, it will automatically extract the data from the invoice and prepare then the matching of the invoice with your purchase order, if it's an invoice with a purchase order. For the cognitive analytics, we have some KPIs like the contract cycle time, sourcing cycle time, and it will compare your performance with the community and also with the best in class in order for you to make decisions to improve your performance. And finally, we have this Merlin Assist. It's a chatbot on MS Teams, and it will enable all your business users to have quick responses and also create, for example, a purchase request, a sourcing event, a contract request, or a supplier request. It will enable them also to track these different documents or events. And it will also enable them to collaborate with your internal stakeholders or with the supplier. And finally, we have introduced generative AI in Merlin Assist in order for the buyer to find new supplier on the web and also to have insights about a specific category. Thank you, Renaud.
Thank you, Laurent. Thank you, Renaud. Well, we can see that AI is becoming quite a thing in digital solutions like Merlin, but not only. We know all the AI models that are used, and from we are, at the EIPM, we are in the teaching business, we are professional education, and we also deal with students, and we can see an increased, really an increased usage of AI solutions to boost productivity on one side, like correcting, translating, writing, anything related to the production of interaction with suppliers or with others. And all the students that are getting out of schools right now, they use AI. So whether we like it or not, the usage is coming from the individual usage more and more into the business world. So for productivity reasons, let's say it like that, or to do things faster and better. And on the other side, we have also AI, of course, as displayed, used for business solutions to take more, better business decisions. And one around that we discussed was about innovation and how we can use innovation on that. Do we have? I wanted to check whether we have questions in the question and answer section. Let me check that. So we have one question about sharing the presentation. Of course, yeah, I forgot to mention that we will share the presentation to the registered members of the seminar, and you will get a link to be able to go through it after all. There is some questions in the chat, I've been told, so let me check that out. Okay. One question is, since many innovation solutions related to procurement fail to deliver ROI, so actual business case and KPIs related to this important financial metric. So how does your solution transfer from the so-called innovation narrative to actual company customer results? So basically, Renaud and Laurent, do you have business cases that shows that you showed us some metrics, if I remember, about the use of AI, and I think that was here, and cycle time reduction and all of that. So can you be a bit more specific around these numbers?
Yes. I mean, we have three ways of answering the question. The first thing is what we say. I mean, we say you will save 80% of cycle time on contracts, this kind of thing. So that's what we measured about our existing customers. But then we can be, and then we have customer testimonial. So when we interact with someone, we fuel our prospects with customer testimonials, saying, yes, I said this thanks to AI. So that's a second way we can answer. But the third one, the best one, is what we do is we do a ROI study in the context of our prospect, because it varies so much, what you can gain. Some customers have already done a lot on the contract side, for example, but are poor on the accounts payable side or reverse. So the best is for us, and we do it nearly systematically, is to do a ROI study in the context of our prospects, with the prospect, because it doesn't mean anything if we are doing it by ourselves. We are doing it together, and and the result can be used by the prospect, by the way.
Okay.
Maybe just a comment, Pierre, on this one. I think there's a natural tendency to first look at the power of new technologies, to support some of the more data-intensive activities. But today, most of the tactical activities can already be automated, with more traditional tools like Zycus and, things like process mining, for instance. And I think the challenge today for procurement is not just to look at the return on investment purely as an efficiency one, but also to understand, how these tools are going to help augment the decision making capability, not just of procurement, but of the overall company and of the teams that are working on the different commodities. So I think, some of the biggest benefits are not in the tactical aspects. They're more in the operational, more in the strategic aspects. And it's not just a procurement challenge, but it's a team challenge together with the other stakeholders that needs to make this decision. And that can be tricky to assess this type of positive impact, being able to bring decision-making increase in terms of the quality of the decision-making. But this is something always important to have in mind, I think.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
Exactly. If I can comment, if you take, for example, the use of generative AI for our user experience, yes, it allows you to dialogue with the platform, so to get faster the information you need, but it allows also other people to access the platform on ask question to the platform. So that's the second benefit. First benefit is you get the information quicker. The second benefit is you get more people having the information on interacting with the platform.
Okay, is there any test version of Merlin? And we have two questions about the suitability for SMEs and the demo version on, and then after we have another question which is broader that I will address after. But demo version, Renaud, or
Yes, Laurent?
Yes, we have on our website, zycus.com, we have a Merlin Experience Center. And then you can try some of our Merlin tools.
okay, thank you. And the scalability, I mean, are you looking at, because that's a good question, actually. I mean, we have between big companies, I mean, they can afford these kind of solutions, but smaller companies, can they? Or
Oh, yes. I mean, we are addressing any company. We have mostly large customers, to be honest, multinational customers, but we are also dealing with SME. I mean, the difference is really not really the size of the company, but I would say what is at stake in terms of procurement. What is the transformation needed? What is the gap between where they are or where they could be? And I think that's really this that can drive and justify a digital procurement project.
okay, thank you, Renaud. I see we have a question about the means to generate innovation, and that's it's from Zolt. That's what we're going to discuss in a couple of minutes. Because of course, I mean, the how you do it is important, and we are going to ask you guys what are your current practices for a survey during the call as well. But before getting to that section, I'd like to but thank you for these insights. Well, you know what? Innovation is important for me, but today my priority is the transition. My CEO just announced to the world that my company is going to be net zero in 10 years, and now it's me, supply chain manager, procurement guy, who has to deliver on that. So how innovation interact or relates or can help me tackle this imperative, Hervé?
Yeah, no, that's really one of the interesting case in terms of data innovation. So that's all the topic related to decarbonization. So when we start to look in the topic of decarbonization, of course, we start with data. We want to have some measure, and we look at some of the emission factors. We can relate them to the spend. We can relate them to a mass, to a volume of something we buy, or we can start to break down product, decompose them into a bill of materials, and then attach some of these emission factor. And out of this, we'll get a first sense of what will be or what is for an existing product, the embedded greenhouse gas emission. And I say greenhouse gas because it's not just carbon, it's all of the greenhouse gases, and we take them back into an equivalent of carbon here. So data, whenever we think in terms of the innovation that needs to happen into the coming years to decarbonize completely many of our industries, well, all that data starts by getting access to this information. But it's only a starting point, because tomorrow, in order to decarbonize completely or extensively many industries, we'll have a lot more of data sharing going on across companies. So for instance, we'll be developing digital product passport that will be attached to every product. And this passport will provide access to further information related to the product themselves, but also to what should we do at the end of life of the product. Today, a lot of products are going to the waste bin simply because we don't know exactly at the end of life how to dismantle them, or we don't know exactly what's in them. So in the future, it's not just the carbon footprint that will be the type of data we need to orchestrate through some of the system, but we need to be able to have access to a lot of different types of information that are going to help us, in a very practical ways, decarbonize our economies. And I think that's absolutely essential that in the future, more and more product will be designed with eco-design principle in mind, but informed by an increase in terms of data sharing along complete supply chain. There's a number of initiatives in this field, whether in the chemical industry with Together for Sustainability, and also very interesting with Catenax in the field of automotive. But the future, then, will have much more data being shared along the full life cycle of product, and all that will be connected back to procurement platforms, because this will inform a lot of decision-making activities.
Thank you, Hervé. Of course, that this transition it goes, I would say, from decarbonization that you just mentioned. It's wider, and we can talk about, I would say, more in a broader sense, more the ESG as a whole. Renaud, can you take the lead on that?
Yeah, sure. So on ESG, the bad news is that's falling in the buyer bucket most of the time, and that's a lot of data to take care of, and that's a lot of complex reporting in different international formats to produce. The good news is that's a strategical mission. I mean, that's a new strategical mission for the buyer, and I think that's a good way of seeing it, that ESG criteria to follow them up is really strategic for a company. I mean, people now, they are buying from companies that are good, well noted in terms of ESG criteria. So that's strategic. The problem is how to gather this. When you talk about carbon emission, for example, the scope 3 carbon emission analysis, for example, is really very complicated. I mean, you have to, to be aware about the supplier ranking in terms of ESG and carbon emission. You have to be aware of each item going to categories that is linked to a carbon emission criteria. So that's a lot of data to handle. So what we did at Zycus, we developed a full solution called Lighthouse, natively integrated with our procurement platform, and doing exactly this, ESG management. So it collects all the data. All the data is automatically classified in category. And the reporting on your ESG criteria is automatic, and you choose the format you want to report to. So all this painful collection of data and follow-up is done automatically, and you can trace where it's coming from. So that's auditable, so that's nice. And then you can focus on how can I do better? How can I create a new plan, a new project to enhance my ESG criteria? So you can focus on the important thing, which is to have better ESG criteria.
Yeah,
and how to...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
And our tool allows you to follow up these criteria and to design projects and to follow up the progress of your company on these projects, and to share this follow up with all the managing directors. So I think this tool has a great future, and that's something we launched end of last year, and we are seeing now a strong demand on the market.
This is good. I mean, you're providing. We have data, we have KPI, we have information, but we still have to work with suppliers to make changes. And I'm linking what you just said as an enabler to our second topic that we want to discuss is actually what are the different practices that you are using to generate either innovation or innovation to pursue your projects. And I'm going to launch another poll. As you can see, how to make it happen, how to engage suppliers to either generate innovation, engage into creating a common decarbonization roadmap, and product differentiation or value to the top line or to the bottom line. So we have different possibilities here from RFPs, RFIs, or more open evolutionary RFPs, depending on the specification that we've been using. Innovation competition between your suppliers, or workshop dedicated to one or couple of suppliers only, or more broader, let's say, approach like benchmarking, scouting, would be on your machine, or even more a broad approach like hackathons, crowdsourcing, open innovation platforms. So let's see what the audience is proposing or using today in terms of processes. So Hervé, can you comment on the results?
Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting because this really kind of reflecting a little bit the distance we have, and most of the innovation is still going to come from maybe existing supplier, and we are looking for here for product and services that exist, and we expect some improvement, better carbon footprint, and things like that. So fairly traditional tool that we have can be leveraged in order to investigate about this. But innovation, we need to look beyond in terms of capabilities and new ideas that we might want to access, and beyond in terms of with whom we work. It's not always about existing supplier. It can come from new supplier. It can come from supplier of supplier, or it can come from very unfamiliar player. We see more and more procurement teams working directly with universities, not-for-profit organization, in order to gain access to capabilities and ideas that can make a difference. And here, well, we need to go beyond the classic tool that we use. With existing supplier, to get their ideas, we might need to organize some innovation workshops. So if we want to see with them how we can decarbonize some of the product they sell to us, an innovation workshop can be a nice way to engage into an exchange and be able to access new ideas related to this. But sometimes we might need to go to very different type of supplier if we're looking to switch from a product made out of oil to something that's an oil-free product. Then maybe we need to have an innovation competition, or maybe we're going to be using crowdsourcing and passing a message to the broader world in terms of who could have something that would have these attributes in terms of performance, but that could replace my traditional product that's too carbon intensive. So there's a big playground when we have data intelligence, and then when we understand what we look for. Are we just looking for something that already exists? Are we looking for new capabilities, new ideas? Are we open to get ideas from existing supplier, potentially new supplier, and familiar player? Then everything you've mentioned can be used, and that framework can help you to go to the right type of contributor to access the right type of contribution to deliver innovation.
So, broad, I mean, if I rephrase what you just said, Hervé, it's a broad arrays of possibilities. Depending on what you want to achieve and with who, you may choose different ways of getting there.
Yeah, and my message is always the same, whenever you develop a category strategy, a multi-year category strategy, a long-term one, or whenever you start a major project, step back, wait before jumping to the usual way of running, your process, and think, what is the best way? What do I need to do in order to access and understand better the capabilities, the ideas that can, make a difference? If we take the case of decarbonation, very often I see company jumping directly into an RFP, and then saying, and part of this, I want to have a lower carbon footprint. Well, simply organize a workshop with a couple of suppliers before, run an RFI in order to understand what are the carbon drivers. This will be a great way to make sure that you can embed into your final RFP, the right way of looking at the problem. So anticipate and sometimes accelerate are absolutely essential, but make this a very conscious decisions on how you go to market, how you're going to gain access to these insights in order to deliver at the right speed, the right innovation for the business.
How do you do? I mean, I know that you use these 3 stages models. I mean, to depict basically. I mean, where are you right now? Companies are looking at developing the capabilities to be able to foster innovation and decarbonization in different stages. So can you?
Yeah, no, I think that's for the question we had before. So how do you make innovation part of everybody's job in procurement? So, and how do you make it at the center of everything in procurement? So first recommendation during stage 1 is make sure that this is a contribution from everyone. Every buyer is expected to contribute to innovation. Not always, disruptive, radical innovation, but it's part of the job of everyone, and it's part of everyone's goal in the organization. And make sure that you communicate on it, that best practices, projects are documented and are made accessible, that stories are captured and shared. This is a great way of motivating people, having, not just great contributions to savings, but also explaining how we've been able to, input some value somewhere that really makes a difference. Stage 2 goes a bit further. We need to be very systematic. We need to integrate innovation in interactions with supplier, part of the supplier relationship meeting, part of workshops dedicated to this, part of our category strategy, and leverage all the technology we have in terms of communication in order to have the right exchange with the right participant. This brings us to a situation where we can go into a stage 3. In stage 3, innovation is a multi-horizon game. At the same time, we might be buying what's going to be a radical improvement for the next year, but we're still at the same time being able to explore the solution that can disrupt a market within 2 or 3 years. We need to look at sometime innovation, not within a category, but across categories, because if we're really redefining the challenges and the solution, this might totally transform our way of looking at existing categories. And we need to position procurement as a knowledge hub, procurement as a source of knowledge, not just as people that are running projects, but as, people who can give access to stakeholders, to users, to, what's next, what's coming up, what are the new technologies, what are the innovation, and decarbonization, sustainability are a great opportunity related to this. We are a knowledge hub. We are a source of advices. We are a source of information that makes it a difference. Innovation is not just fishing for new ideas. Innovation needs to become systematic. And here it can be augmented by AI. I can scan this product, automatically create a bill of materials, and get access to information about patent, market evolutions for all the different components. And that ability of accessing this pool of information, is going to inform future decisions that can really augment not just the buyer, but teams and the business altogether.
Well, thanks. It looks like a very compelling picture of procurement contribution. But I mean, this is great because my CFO is just wondering about QCD and bottom line. So how do I manage these I would say contradictory injunctions? Let's say it like that.
Well, in some ways, I'll make it very simple. Because we are able to use a lot more of the digital tools today, because we're able to simplify a lot of the tactical operational process, we are going to create opportunities to free some resources for future activities. And one of the very important points for CPO today is to make sure that we have resources that can be put in order to look into this more long-term anticipation topic. So if what we save in terms of time on some of the tactical operational activities, low value adding tasks, we find ways to reinvest at least half of it in not just, leveraging the power of procurement, but accelerating, some of our activities. If we reuse some of this time in order to anticipate on future development, if we reuse some of this time free to further explore, opportunities for the future, this will be our way of embracing the uncertainty and being able to deliver for today, but also for tomorrow, all the innovation that we need and all the improvement that we need. We need to regain access to the ability to, put resources on different projects with different time horizons, different change impact within procurement. Otherwise, we'll still be the hostage of running the traditional process every day. That ability to change the resources allocation is given to us by digital tools, by AI. At the same time, we're being augmented. So let's leverage that in order to build a future that really makes a difference for procurement, but in the end, for complete value chain, complete supply chain. That's the goal we should have.
Thank you, Hervé. Before we move on to the final words of everyone on this call, I'd like to have a check on the question and answers. So we got some answers already about Merlin AI on the depth of the solution. So we had some answers. So thank you guys. Another question is about foundational elements to guarantee a smooth and robust procurement digital transition. It's a good point. I mean, how do we move from where we are to implementing this solution? It can create quite a big shakeup because technology is transforming the way people work, not just giving them more tools. So it has diverse impacts. I mean, I guess at Zycus you have change management practices. I guess so.
Yes, I mean, for sure, change management is important in a procurement digitalization project. That's very important. So we take care of it either by ourselves or with partners sometimes. That's an important point. And I think the two advice we could give is first to scope your project in a very clever way with quick wins. I mean, people say buy quick wins. And when you have quick wins at the beginning of a project, of an innovation project, then the rest of the project follows very, very easily. So first, to design a project, let's say an MVP project with quick wins is number one. And number two, to be clear about the user-friendly, the user experience part, and to have a real progress in the user experience part. If you have quick return and a big progress in the user experience, then you're sure to have a success.
Okay. Any experience you want to share, Hervé, in that topic?
Yeah, I think, as someone who's really, someone who's pushing for innovation, I think, quick win is a good point, but we need a big vision. We need a vision of what procurement can look like into the future, because it's not just about machines, it's also about humans. It's also about making sure that we can develop the individuals to be augmented and to be using all of these tools. And I think we also need to be ambitious in terms of some of the project we launch. I remember 5-6 years ago, we could see all this proof of concept where we were trying to order a pen just by talking to a phone. And a lot of them are probably not so much used in a corporation. So be ambitious as well. I think that's very important. Build a vision of how you want to see your procurement organization functioning into the future, how you're going to be able to address all these imperatives coming to us. Because I think, we talked about priorities at the beginning. It's gone is the time where procurement had one priority. Today, we have 5 or 6, and we need to break through these priorities, reconcile all the difficulties, and come up with something that could make a true difference to the business. So we need to build a vision for this. And after, technology solutions, yes, we can experiment, create sandbox that helps to, make progress and go in the right direction. But we need the tension between that vision and the practical next steps, the experimentation that can move us forward.
Yeah, we have Zycus, I mean, talking about change culture, saying that, yeah, tools are okay, but we need to have the create, motivate, help the culture of the for the procurement teams to embrace changes and to embrace new ways of working. But that's I think that's one of the role of us as managers of procurement organization is to create the conditions to help foster innovation, and there's very diverse ways of looking at it. Maybe that could be a topic for a next webinar to discuss about how to better, what can we do to help transform the function, because we are the cornerstone of so many changes right now that maybe developing capabilities for our organizations to be more robust in the way they manage change is something that could be interesting. Let us know, guys, in the comments if it's something you want us to address, and we'll gladly tackle the topic. So the other, for closing words, as we're reaching the end of our session here, how would you see the evolution of data analytics for procurement people, Hervé, in the next future? And Renaud, I'd like to have also your opinion on that. Where you would see all of that heading in the next coming years?
Well, I can start. I think that the technology we have that's accessible today, as soon as we understand how we can best deliver it to our team, it's going to help us to aggregate more and more sources of information, to combine these sources of information, to confront different sources of information, to further, support our operational processes, to further support strategic decision making. And the more we'll be able to combine, distant sources of information, the more we'll be able to, come up with innovative schemes that can make a difference for the business. So the whole challenge, is to really convince the top management that we need that ability to experiment, to build that vision in order to deliver all the potential that both information, but also the capabilities of existing and future supplier can deliver for multiple time horizon, not just immediate next year change, but also maybe some longer term or more disruptive situations.
Okay, thank you, Hervé. Renaud?
Yeah, on Zycus side, we think that the future of procurement, that's what we call cognitive procurement. So Laurent explained it, and cognitive procurement, it embarks more AI, more data, and you will have more AI, and you can use more data to take good decisions. So more data, for example, for ESG criteria, more data for supplier performance, for supplier risk. So you can go and grab external data to improve your process and to innovate. I think the future of procurement is really here is expanding the set of data you're using to manage on one side, and using AI to be more productive and to automate more and more.
But if I can build on this, I think the one important aspect, we all need more data in order to be able as a business to take better decisions, but we will also need to share more data associated with product, associated with what we do. There's a tendency everywhere to always we can't share any information because this is sensitive for reason X or Y. The changes, the imperative in front of us in terms of sustainability, in terms of risk management are such that without rethinking the way we not just access data, but further share data with others, is going to be really making the difference between a bright future and potentially, trouble in front of us.
Well, in this last comment, Hervé, I would like to thank everyone who's been participating to this seminar, this webinar. Thank you for all of the Zycus team, the EIPM team, who's been able to make it a success. Thank you to all of you guys that have been attending the webinar. I hope you find it interesting, that it's been triggering a lot of thoughts around where you are and where you want to go in regards to innovation, decarbonization, and data management in your companies. And we will, of course, get back with the audience with the summary or the link for the broadcast of this seminar. And stay tuned for new upcoming seminars from EIPM. And wish you a very nice day in wherever you are. For now, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so
Goodbye,
much.
thank you.